How's it going, everyone? It's Ben Fogan's Media Corner back again with a brand new video for today. Welcome back to the movie review, aka after our Soul review video for today. This time for this new episode for this series is going to be my review on the 2022 coming-of-age drama, and that is The Fabelmans. Now, this is directed by Steven Spielberg, one of my favorite filmmakers of all time, and this movie is basically a semi-autobiographical film of his life as a child, which the whole story for the film is that growing up in post-World War II era in Arizona, young Sammy Fabelman aspires to become a filmmaker as he reaches adolescence, but soon discovers a shattering family secret and explores how the power of films can help him see the truth. So that's pretty much the story of The Fabelmans. Now, of course, I was really looking forward to this movie. This was one of my most anticipated movies of 2022 here, guys. Like, there was just so much things that I was looking forward to seeing when it came to this movie and all that. Like, there was a lot of reasons why. Like, one was because this is a new film by Steven Spielberg, and you guys may know already, I'm a huge fan of Steven Spielberg myself. Like, he is indeed one of the greatest filmmakers of all time. And another reason why I was looking forward to this movie was because of the cast. Like, you've got a great talented cast in this movie, such as Michelle Williams, Paul Dano, Seth Rogan, Judd Hirsch, and Gabriel LaBelle. I was really looking forward to seeing what they were going to do for this new Spielberg film and all that. And another reason why I was looking forward to this movie was because this is a semi-autobiographical film of Steven Spielberg's life as a child. And I was really intrigued to see about all of that, even though I never knew much about his whole childhood or anything like that once I was introduced to Steven Spielberg and all of that. But once I heard he was making his own personal movie about his own childhood, I was really intrigued to see all of that, even though, like I said before, I never knew much about his whole childhood or anything like that. Like, I didn't even know, like, how he followed his dreams and all that, and, like, where it led up to this day, on, like, how he became, the greatest filmmaker of all time and all that. But once I saw the trailer for the film, of course, I was really excited for this movie. And this film came out just a couple months ago in the US, which was in November, but we didn't get this film until January of this year in the UK. And I went to see this the day it was released in my area, which was on the 27th of January. And unfortunately, the screening that I was in, really wasn't much of a full house. But there was a fair amount of people in the exact same screening that I was in, though. But after watching this whole movie, I gotta say here, guys, that Spielberg managed to not disappoint me here, guys, because I indeed absolutely love this movie, and I can say this is definitely another one of my favorite films of 2022 here, you guys. And I can also say that this film will indeed become the next new Spielberg classic over the next few years and all that. Like, there's just so much here in this movie to basically love and appreciate here. Like, the direction by Spielberg is absolutely terrific here, from what Spielberg has been able to capture on the big screen, from the storytelling to where this film is set in its time, in which when it came to that, it truly kind of gives you those vibes as you watch the film, because this film is set in the 50s and then the 60s. And as I was watching the film, I truly did get those vibes as I was watching the film, because this film truly feels that way and looks that way. And it looks absolutely beautiful from the way it's made and all that, from Spielberg's directing talent, because, Spielberg is just indeed a great filmmaker here. And for what he did for this film, he managed to not disappoint me here, because I absolutely love what he captured on the big screen here. And the performances, everyone was just top-notch for their performances here. Michelle Williams is absolutely incredible in this film, and I definitely agree with everyone. She definitely deserved another Oscar nomination here, because she was just so powerful in the film. And Paul Dano was also incredible in the movie as well. Seth Rogan was great here as well. And Judd Hirsch was absolutely incredible in the film, specifically for one scene that requires him and Gabriel LaBelle, which when it came to that moment in the film, I absolutely adored that moment. And for what he did in the film, just really blew me away here. And speaking of Gabriel LaBelle, his performance in the movie was absolutely fantastic, and I can't wait to see what else he does in the future, because he was just indeed incredible throughout this whole movie as Sammy Fabelman. And the music score by the one and only John Williams was indeed absolutely brilliant. And when it comes to John Williams' score in movies, I always adore them, because John Williams has always been my #1 favorite music composer of all time. I always love his music when it comes to any big movie that he does and all that, like with Star Wars and Jaws and all that kind of stuff. And the storytelling and the whole storytelling for this film, which is basically the perspective of Spielberg's childhood, it is really fascinating, but also really moving and engaging, because I was remotely invested about the whole film of like how Spielberg was inspired to become a filmmaker at a young age when he was a kid. I really was invested by that, and I was remotely engaged, and I was on the edge of my seat while I was watching those moments. And I liked how he has to deal, and I liked how this film shows like how he dealt with like the family drama and all of that, which when it comes to the family drama moments in the film, I found those moments very heartwarming, but yet also really heartbreaking, because we get to see like what happens in the film, like we see like how Sammy and his family keep moving and all that, move into different areas because of his father's work and all that, and for his and seeing like how Sammy's mother is dealing with grief and all that, which I found those moments very moving and all of that. And it did make, and when it came to those moments, I did immediately cry while I was watching the film. And I also liked how this film is sort of like a love letter to filmmaking, even though this film isn't fully about that, because this film does show different aspects more of that, where it shows like how Sammy is struggling with all the family drama that he's facing in the film and all, and how he had to deal with all of that and all that, how to deal with that in this film and all that. And I've got no single flaw to pick out this film, because I indeed absolutely loved everything about this film, because it truly gave me everything for what I wanted for a Spielberg film. Because again, like I said, I'm a huge fan of Steven Spielberg myself, and this movie, like I said, is indeed one of the best films of 2022 here. And I can definitely say this is definitely my favorite film from Steven Spielberg of this decade by far here. And there's a few ways I can recommend this film. If you're a fan of Steven Spielberg like I am, or you're a fan of films that has something to do with filmmaking like this one, or you're a fan of the cast like Michelle Williams or Paul Dano or anyone else, this is definitely one you don't want to miss out here. And if it is playing in a local cinema near you, I highly suggest check out seeing this one for yourselves here. So that's pretty much all I'd say about The Fabelmans. I'm going to give The Fabelmans 5 out of 5. Yep, not a single flaw to pick out of this movie, because like I said, this movie truly gave me everything that I expected to see out of the Spielberg film. And like I said before, this is indeed one of my favorite films of 2022. And like I said before, I could never see this film being like the next new classic or the next few years when it comes to the most recent Spielberg films and all that. And I'm also curious to see like how this film will do with the Oscars, since this film has already been nominated for a few awards. So we'll just see how the Oscars will turn out to be this year and all that. Hopefully it won't be like what happened with last year's Oscars and all that. So, but anyway, thank you guys so much for watching my ACAF artist review on The Fabelmans, and let me know what you think of this movie if you have seen this already, or if you just recently checked out this film. Did you absolutely adore this film, or was this not really a cup of tea? As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and this has been Falcon's Media Corner signing off.